You happy Saturday, the paradigm shift, episode 90. Wow, I'm gonna take a second. 90 episodes, 90 weeks in a row, never missed one. Big Dave, I see you. We have a very special guest on today, Gareb, whom I met at Web Summit in Portugal, and I'm really excited to bring him on. We're all in for a treat. Buckle up. Y'all know the drill. Current state from 1 to 10 in the chats. Me and Dave love to know. Gareb, I see you. We're going to bring you on in less than 5. Less than 5. Big Dave, bringing you on right now. How adorable is this cat going to look? To be determined, but pretty much. Let's get nuts. Everybody's on fire today.
There we go.
Big Dave?
Hey.
I want a hug. How you doing, you sex panther? It's good to see you.
I'm doing extremely well. I'm back from the ribbon cutting at the Waldorf Astoria in Cancun. What a great way to cap off a big speaking tour for almost 3 months, man. It was back and forth all over the world, and now I'm back in my closet. I'm so excited to be here.
You're like one of those like unbelievable legendary bands that go on tour. All the stops that you made, they're very lucky to have you. I know at the end you were in Cabo for a little bit. Is that right?
No, I was at the ribbon cutting in Cancun for the Waldorf.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why did I say Cabo?
It's all right, Cabo Wabo, man. They're all Mexico, and the secret, if anybody wants a travel tip, fly through Tijuana. If you live in Southern California, from LA down, the easiest way is to fly. I went from Monterrey, Mexico, Cancun, Cabo. I've been to so many different cities through. In fact, flying back from Europe sometimes is even easier. When Ireland, my wife flew through Mexico City into Tijuana. You just walk across, nobody's there, no traffic, and it's about 1/10 the cost.
Wow.
So
Good
if
to
you want
know.
to save some money, fly through Tijuana.
Hell yeah, love that. And by the way, that tan, that Mexican tan is glistening.
Oh yeah, good sunshine, man. We're fired up, man. I've never been this fired up. I've never been able to access this much energy. I can't wait to see what you got for me today.
Let's get nuts. Before we bring our guest on, as always, I'm going to ask you a question. Diving into your content, specifically this morning, when I was on the exercise bicycle, I saw something really cool and interesting, and talk about a paradigm shift. And this is good for the audience here today. You said a good idea doesn't guarantee you success. Dive in on that, Big Dave.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things, right? There's a million good ideas out there. The minute you come up with an idea, all it is a possibility. When you know who you can help and who can help you with your idea, the idea now becomes a probability. When you attach strategy, when you attach alignment and awareness to that in discipline, meaning the consistent, persistent pursuit of that idea, you now have perspective. And when you execute on that altogether, the possibility, the probability, and the perspective comes your reality. And so there's a lot of steps after you come up with an idea. But the greatest thing about an idea is it takes you in a mathematical advantage from nothingness to a probability. But know that it's only a possibility. Know that in order to make it a probability, perspective, and reality, you got a lot to do. And the first step is to find who you can help and who can help you.
You really are a stud for so many reasons. And that's all 100% true. And that kind of applies into law of attention and attraction, all that stuff. But something that you also said that I thought was really interesting is just because you have that idea doesn't mean it's the right one. And you referenced Bezos. His first idea was selling something out of maybe just books out of his garage. And now look, so you have to be willing to improvise and pivot too, and not be so attached to your idea, right?
Yeah, well, the idea is that you have your values, you have this process, but then you have to utilize the 24 hours that you're given with lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. You have to have daily practices, which, I send my book and daily practices out to everyone. You can email me. These daily practices will change your life, because what it does is allow you to know, what do I want today? Today, I want to sell books out of my garage today. Who can I help? Who can help me today? how can I best get this done utilizing the 24 hours of man-made constructive times, and then prioritize accordingly by what's important to you, by the what, the who, and the how. Prioritization is the antidote to being overwhelmed or to procrastinate. Instead of searching for your why every day, you'll be applying your why in a trajectory of what you think you want in the future. But what you think you want in the future is going to be better than what you think of today. And that's the secret sauce of the 5 daily practices. So email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I promise you, we'll send you those daily practices in my book to help you do what Bezos and so many others do. Take great ideas and let them evolve into extraordinary empty mile ideas.
You dig? He is fired up today. This is great. We're going to bring on Gareb right now. While I'm bringing him on, Dave, answer this one. You talk about this often. The Secret talks about it. A lot of people do. Dis-ease, right? And you like to operate in ease. What does that even really mean, dis-ease?
Anything that interferes with your source, right? Your source of omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing, light, love, and lessons. Anything that interferes. So ego-based consciousness, behaviors with your health, your nutrition, relationships that bleed you, anything that interferes with you creates dis-ease. It actually creates cortisol in your system, which creates a biochemical dis-ease as well, beyond the emotional and energetic dis-ease. The more at ease you are, people ask me, I'm turning 55 next month, Craig. They ask me how I have so much energy. You know what? I have the exact same amount of energy as every other human being. I just have figured out what I'm doing to interfere with it, what I'm using to put myself at dis-ease. Live your life at ease. You'll be able to go ahead and draw from the omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source.
Beautifully said. And you're 55 years young. And also, it reminds me of this quote that I heard, and you articulate better than anybody. We don't create abundance. We create limitations, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the shift in the paradigm, no pun intended, in episode 90, that we're shifting the paradigm that I'm already happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? Apply your why. Don't search for what you already have.
Look at this son. What's up, Gareb? How you doing?
Great to see you.
I'm doing great.
Amazing. Good to see you. Hey, let's ask Craig why he ripped his shirt.
I love you, Dave. It would be weird if you didn't make fun of me.
That's true.
I appreciate that. And
I only make fun of people that can take it. I only make fun of people who can take it, and also that I love.
I love you too. Gareb and I met in Portugal at Web Summit, which Dave actually facilitated an opportunity for me when I was hosting the event. Gareb was one of the speakers, and we connected behind the scenes, and right away there was so much alignment. I'm so excited to bring him on today. For the audience that might not be familiar, he does so many things. He wears many different hats. Definitely do a deep dive. But for today, we're just going to dive right in and just have an awesome conversation.
Always ready.
You ready for me?
Always.
Okay. One of the things that you speak about, which is so cool, is you're constantly trying new things, and like you're never complacent, so to speak. And when thinking about what to do next, you always think about how can you uniquely position your business. And you did this with the character business. You applied it to Web3 and the NFTs, which is so cool. And how can someone else apply this mindset when they're looking to maybe start something new?
I think everybody has it within themselves to do what's next. They just don't realize it. So like I look at myself and I say, okay, what am I an expert at? And then I just literally have a conversation with myself where do I think everything that I'm working on is going to be in 2 or 3 years from now? Right? What's going to be the status of the industry? What are the big players going to be doing? What are the artists or creators going to be doing in my case? Where's the film industry going to be? Where's the streaming world? So when you start thinking about what you're an expert at and where that world is going to be in 3 years from now, then you already know where things are going. So why wait 3 years? Just start doing that now. So
because everything is always shifting,
but you as an expert, you already know what, like if I asked you, what's going to be the status of podcasting, what's going to be the status of live events and hosting and things, you're going to be like, oh, in 3 years from now, it's going to be XYZ different. You're going to be like, oh, well, why wait 3 years for that to happen? I'm just going to start working on that now and take whatever first step I can to say, oh, this is where it's going. I'm just going to do it now and get started on that.
This is awesome. And Dave, like always playing chess, always thinking 10 moves ahead, right?
Yeah, playing chess, not checkers. But I think, to add to that philosophy, people have a difficult time with understanding their own expertise, or what I call their essence. And it really stems from doing a deep dive or taking inventory of your own skills, your own knowledge, and your own desire. And I take a even further alignment. I look for, how are my skills, my knowledge, and my desires aligned with, number one, what's doing well today? Because I want to create even more abundance. And if I can figure out the jobs, careers, industries, opportunities, options, touches of favor of what are doing well today, and apply my essence, my expertise to that, I will be statistically successful. And then two, I look at what's stable today. And looking at what's stable, I then do the same application. And then finally, do exactly what G is talking about. I go ahead and align my essence with what I believe in the jobs, careers, industries, options, opportunities, and touches of favor, what's going to be doing well in the future. And then according to my timing and risk tolerance, I then put a weighted balance of attention and intention on each one of these different areas, what's doing well today, what's stable today, and the lottery tickets of what I think will be doing well in the future, but all within the context of knowing that I don't know, that I only have control of my mindset, heart set, and handset, and the development of my skills, knowledge, and desire are my primary focus of my attention and intention. And what happens in the end is an aggregate effect of behaviors that creates that statistical success that all three of us have enjoyed, whether we're doing that consciously or subconsciously. But what a great guide. And just totally appreciate someone that's aligned with what I've been doing for years and trying to teach as well. Awesome.
Yeah. And he's there's so much more. And for my fellow nerds out there and geeks, he is the ultimate superhero and comic book nerd. And I mean that with the utmost respect, because so am I. And one thing I find really interesting, Gareb, is when Dave kind of had a direction after college, although you pivoted and reinvented yourself. But myself and Gareb, we didn't know what we wanted to do when we graduated college. I literally had no idea. We had a degree, but you love superheroes and you love comic books. How are you able to leverage that?
When I graduated college, I was a big comic book fan. My mom actually ran a comic book and sports card store. So I was very lucky that I had three brothers growing up. So I literally had a candy store in my family growing up. But like you said, it was 1990. The economy was terrible. I couldn't get a job. So I didn't know what to do. So I worked for the store. And I was like, okay, well, what do I like to do? I like to write. I worked for the school newspaper for years at college. I had a photocopy machine. I had customers that knew about comic books. I had the guy in the store that was our expert, and I was an expert. So I was like, what do I have basically for free? What are my resources? And I kind of took stock of that. And I was like, wow, I can get the customers that are really, really smart about comic books, the kids, to do articles for me. I have a photocopy machine. Okay, I've got my mom can give me the paper for the copy machine, right? I had an audience because I had all the customers. So I started putting out a newsletter about comic books. And wouldn't you know it, like everybody loved it. And we just printed it for free in the store, got a lot of people to like start increasing their comic book sales like crazy. And then all of a sudden I was like, wow, this is a magazine. And that was the impetus for like saying, okay, what I'm saying works, what I'm writing resonates with people, and it's turning into sales. So there must be a lot more people like me out there if this is how our store is. So I started creating a magazine called Wizard, and I did the same thing only in a magazine format. And instead of one store, I distributed to 3,000 stores. And overnight, we had almost 30,000 copies of sales in the magazine. And within a year, we had 200,000 copies worldwide in 75 countries. It was just extraordinary. Because it was also pre-internet, so there was no place to go for this information. So anytime there was news that was breaking, people had to come to us for that.
So much to unpack here, Dave. I'll let you take it away. I just wanted to say one thing. I love that you didn't have all the clarity, but like, as I like to say, clarity follows action. You made yourself available, you started making moves, and things opened up. Dave, take it away. I see you smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah, no, I think it's very similar to what Dave Portnoy did at Barstool Sports, right? He was that dorky sports guy that was a journalist that created a sports rag in Boston and just started handing it out. And has built it into $1 billion platform, utilizing the same idea of building a community. But what really stands out to me is the aspect of how much opportunity we have today because of the spectrum and reach. I don't think people realize the size, scope, and scale that if you have a powerful signal that resonates into 3,000 comic book stores and to 200,000 sales of a magazine, imagine that was all done without the amplification that's available today. And what people don't realize, I always use the Pimple Popper example, is that you could have such a narrow niche like popping pimples and end up with millions of people in your community where they want you to do a podcast on it. There's a Bravo TV show on it, and you have more subscribers than the entire NFL Hall of Fame by just popping pimples and making that your essence, your expertise. And there's no better time, Craig, than today to know your essence, to capture your essence, to modify your essence to each of these different platforms, and to amplify it everywhere. And you will gain the benefit of such a huge audience that no matter what you love, it could be picking your nose. I don't care. I guarantee that if you're an expert at picking your nose, that there's millions of people that are going to love to watch your technique of picking noses. And just always remember, you cannot pick your friend's nose, but you can pick your friends.
All I got it out was popping pimples and picking noses and all the other stuff. But I love you so much. And yeah, so true for anyone listening out there. Number one, community, and then just honing in on something, right? And doubling down and going all in. This is so much fun. I want to thank you guys again. This is so valuable for me and obviously for the listeners. 2 quick final questions, Gareb, and we'll land the plane. I want to mention all the exciting stuff that you have going on right now. You're always reinventing yourself, and you're really big into the Web3 stuff and the NFTs. What are you most excited about right now?
I started a company called Hero Maker, and everything is exactly what the title suggests, which is making heroes. You know, we live in a world where, you know, absent like leadership that people look up to, you know, people have turned to superheroes. And my goal is to create superheroes that are a lot more relatable for people. And you know, that like we were talking about earlier with mindfulness and gratitude and really trying to save people and to have good hearts. And then use the Web3 world as a way to build massive global audiences and franchises. So we live in a world right now where the big entertainment companies, they own and control all the IP that you see, whether it's you know, Star Wars or Spider-Man or Batman. And they only let you so far into their worlds, meaning like, you know, you could play their games and read their comic books and watch their films, but they're not going to let you use their characters to create. And Web3 has opened up that opportunity where fans could be a lot more immersed in those characters. And my whole life has been building global communities of fans that want to do the making part. They want to participate, and they want to have a much deeper, richer experience with the characters that they love. So Hero Maker is about creating characters and universes and worlds that people can build upon as we build upon them as well.
Dave, I just want to say, what a cool name, Hero Makers. Dave, what were we going to say?
I was going to say, I got to get in contact with Gareb because I'm creating the exact same thing, but need help because I have the ferocious Buddha and his little counterpart, Siegel the Eagle. And we're teaching gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration to the world to empower them to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. But what a great idea. And anything I can do to help, absolutely let me know. And we have another platform for the ferocious Buddha in Siegel the Eagle.
I love it.
Hell yeah. And Gareb, there's so much more to talk about. I just want to be respectful for everyone's time. We're going to do more. We'll get you on the podcast and so forth. Best way for everybody to support you and follow you along the journey is?
Check me out on social. It's on Instagram here at Gareb Shamus. I do a lot on Twitter, and it's just my first name at Gareb, which is cool. And then the company is Hero Maker Studios. So you can find us all across social media at Hero Maker Studios. Spider-Man. Always. I was born in Queens, and you know, I have a lot of responsibility in life here. So
Batman was always my favorite because he was the first one that his only superpower was he was rich, and I wanted to be rich when I was a kid. So I love Batman for that reason. Now there's all types of rich superheroes, kind of diluted my respect for the superheroes, the wealthy ones at least. But Gareb, man, you're incredible.
Absolutely.
Let's hook up afterwards as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much, gentlemen. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you, Eagle. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Great.
Yes. Awesome. And guys, if you're not familiar with Gareb, go follow him, check him out, what he's got going on. So many cool and exciting developments that he has. Guys, we'll be back next week for the Paradigm Shift episode 91. So you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget to show up.